everyone. Welcome to Sprinkles of Spirit. This is just for a time for us to sit together and have a soulful conversation of all things yoga, the philosophy, meditation, mindfulness, self-love, and all the tools that will help you on your path to awakening to your spirituality and to growing on your yoga journey. Wherever you're at, get comfortable, get quiet, disconnect from all the things to just kind of receive. Today we're going to talk about what's called the Kleshas. In yogic and Buddhist philosophy, we study what's called the Kleshas, or there's 5 root causes of our suffering. And this keeps coming at me to kind of talk about this. Now, to talk about this in length could be, a 2-3 day workshop, right, if you go into it at length. Today, for purposes of our talk today, I'm just going to briefly cover them and talk about how our yoga practice can help us relieve or weaken the 5 hindrances, right, or causes of our suffering. And this came to me because, especially in the time that we're living, right, with, we're here we are, almost 2 years into a global pandemic. Most of us have never experienced this before. I can feel collectively, and I know you as well as sensitive beings are feeling the collective suffering, right? We're feeling anxiety, we're feeling stress, we're feeling the sadness and the grief of the collective. And when we study the yogic philosophy and we learn, the more we learn and the more you have awareness, the more you can bring the practice of yoga and mindfulness and meditation into your life, and you will experience a shift. You will be able to move out of those spaces, quicker than before. Are they going to completely vanish? Are we ever going to be completely free from the stress, from the anxiety, all these normal occurrences that are going to happen in our lives? We're all going to have experiences that are going to cause suffering, but once we have awareness of how to move through them, you begin to cultivate resilience and strength and faith, and yes, through the practice of yoga and meditation. I truly believe in it because I live it. And so I'm going to talk about what is causing our suffering, right? What is happening out there in the collective, in the world, in your personal life. So we're going to begin with the first klesha. Is called Avidya, which translates to ignorance, or really what it is not seeing things the way they really are. So in yoga, we experience union, right? Yoga means to yoke together mind, body, and spirit. And avidya is that ignorance or the illusion of duality, right, of separateness. Really, we are all, at our core, connected in oneness. Why? Because we are born out of the energy of love, and I truly believe this. And this takes practice, this takes study, right? When you're out there living your life and you see all these judgments happening and the divisiveness and the suffering it causes, it puts a veil. It puts a veil over all of us. We're not seeing the reality that really it's possible we can connect in truth and connect to the love that's inside, the peace that is the truth of every living human being. If we can peel back this veil of separateness, really we realize we are all part of a whole universal consciousness, the energy of love. The label you give it is fine. Your creator, your source, universal consciousness, God, the Holy Spirit. I believe we are all born of that one energy. And it takes a practice, right? It takes self-inquiry to connect to that oneness within each other. So that is the first one. The second one is called Asmita, which is our ego identity. So we're all born, right, out of this source of love, and we forget. right? We forget who we are. We're born into our families. If we're blessed, we have loving parents, and then we have experiences in life, right? They kind of chip away at that. When you witness a baby and a child and a toddler as they're growing, how beautiful is it that they are just unconditionally loving, right? They just love you, no matter what you look like, no matter what your job is, no matter what you did that week, even if you yelled at them, they just love you. It's that pure, unconditional love. Well, as we grow, right, we form what's called our ego identity, and we become attached to identifying ourselves as other than that love. We see ourselves as, maybe you put a label on yourself, like I am a wife, or I am a teacher, or, right, it's attaching yourself to this ego identity, or, you're not your job, people, right? I am a lawyer, I am a doctor. Is that who you are? That is an ego identity, again, kind of putting the veil, right? Putting a label on yourself when you're so much more, right? We are all so much more underneath, kind of the mask that we walk out into the world, and we're all putting on a mask, right? Of whatever it is that day. We put on our happy face, maybe, or we try to. Some of us, is that who you really are? We are not our job or the label that you've identified yourself as. You're so much more than that. Beyond this physical body, beyond your experiences, beyond the labels that your life has brought you to at this point. And when we identify with our ego, what does that do? It places limiting beliefs on ourselves, right? I'm not capable of doing that because that's not what I do. That's not who I am, right? Or I'm not strong enough to do that. I'm not smart enough to do that, right? I haven't learned enough to try that. I'm not capable of this or that. I'm only this good, right? I'll never improve. I'm never going to change. It places, when we attach to our ego identity or the label that you've put on yourself, you're putting limiting beliefs on yourself, which is going to hold you back in life. It's going to hold you back from having new experiences, from trying new things, from growing, from expanding, right? From listening to different perspectives, and from allowing yourselves to connect to that deeper place. It will prevent you from going there, our Asmita, our ego identity. Okay, so the third klesha, or a root cause of suffering, is Raga, or desire, right? Our desires, our attachments to not only things, but to the people in our lives. So when we have attachments, and you can even have an attachment to a thought pattern, right? Speaking of myself, I had, a total attachment. I was addicted to the gym for 20 years. That was a total attachment to this unhealthy mindset that if I wasn't in the gym every single day, sweating my butt off for an hour and burning at least 700-800 calories, it wasn't enough. I wasn't going to be healthy enough, fit enough, skinny enough, right, toned enough, right? That was an attachment, and it was an unhealthy attachment. We can also be attached to acquiring things. Why? Because people think things make them happy, right? I will be happy when. That is such a famous statement, or a well-known statement. Like, so many people have that running through their mind. I'll be happy when I get a better job. I'll be happy when I get a bigger house. I'll be happy when I get a nicer car. I'll be happy when I'm skinnier. Or I'll be happier when I get married. I'll be happier if I have more friends. I'll be happier if people think I'm, cool. I'll be happier when I have 1 million followers, right, on social media. I'll be happier, when, right? When that's attachment, that's those desires, those attachments that you're working towards, right? Why do we do that? We think that's going to bring us happiness or contentment and peace, when really what happens is, even some of the wealthiest people in the world, they've acquired all of these things, right? Maybe they have a huge bank account. They live in a mansion, they're on the water, they have all of these beautiful, sparkly things, but are they happy inside, right? No. They're going, they're in therapy, or, they're suffering from depression and anxiety. These things that we become attached to in life, they don't mean anything. That is not where true happiness and joy, pure joy, comes from, right? We've learned that through our yoga practice when you, again, lift this veil, right? You're going to lift this veil. Why am I attached to these things? What is it really serving? What is it you're after, really? It's that internal peace, right? That comes from within. Always. That's always going to be accessed from inside yourself. The fourth klesha, or root cause of suffering, is what's called Dvesha, which is aversion or dislike of suffering. Avoidance of unpleasant experiences. What it is it's an emotional response from going through certain experiences in your life, and it causes you to place labels on, like let's say, for instance, a group of people as being good or bad. So again, it's placing a layer of duality, of that separateness, right? Which is putting another veil or another block to your path to samadhi, right? Or bliss, enlightenment, right? So it's another block or cause of suffering on our path to growth and to experiencing and living from a place of oneness with each other. Right. And the fifth klesha is called Abhinivesha, and that is fear of death, fear of change, fear of losing loved ones, which this is huge. I can probably do another talk on just this klesha, because I feel like the world is experiencing this the most after what we've all been through over the past 2 years. We're moving through life with this sense of fear that's causing suffering inside. We're living in a state of anxiety and fear over what might happen. Again, placing another veil of separation between that, blocking us from touching or attaining or connecting to that inner peace within. And our yoga path, I want to say today, what I'd like you to get most out of this, right, or learn the most, is how yoga helps to weaken, really, these 5 kleshas, our root causes of suffering. So I'm going to read to you. Patanjali says in the Yoga Sutras, yoga is for cultivating samadhi, and that is enlightenment or bliss, and for weakening the hindrances, the kleshas. So when we practice yoga, right, and you take a class with me here on my channel, or you go to a studio and you take a class, or you sit down in meditation, right, we're peeling back all of these layers one by one, right? We use the body by moving our body into these asanas and different shapes. We use the body, this vessel, to connect to the mind, really. And once we can connect to the mind and we have the awareness of these thoughts, we have the awareness of our attachments, the awareness of our ego identification. Once you have that mental awareness, right, then you can begin to make change. Then you can stop and pause and go, you know what, let me connect to my breath right now. And when we connect to the breath, we are connecting to the core energy of who we are, which is love. Love is the answer. Love is the answer to everything. Every question, love is the answer, really, because when we're not living and coming from a place of love, we are choosing a fearful thought. And our yoga practice and meditation practice is a gift that helps us to lift all of these illusions and connect to the inner truth of who we are, which is loving beings of love, of forgiveness, of compassion, of peace, and yes, connected in oneness. And this may sound all woo, right? And okay, she's dreaming. But really and truly, it is possible. And you can move through life, even in the midst of, just the chaos of what you do see on the news. You can choose, right, to go, okay, that is not who we all really are. There's so much more to all of us. Let me move today and come from a place of love. And you can do that even by simply moving through your life. And here's something you can do. I'm going to offer this to you today that I do. Give it a try. Move through your day, and wherever you go, you just bless others. You just say, may you be blessed, right? At the store, may you be blessed, right? Driving, somebody cuts you off. You know what? May you be blessed. From a genuine place in your heart. Watch how that's going to shift your day. Watch how that's going to shift you out of a state of fear, out of a state of anxiety, out of a state of stress. And the more you go around your life and you bless others, right? You get in an argument with someone, may you be blessed. And we're saying this silently from our heart outward, right? It's all energy. Watch what happens. You will move out of the fear, out of the anger, out of the judgment, and you move into a place of gratitude. It's amazing. And it'll shift your whole day and even the situation in a particular moment. I experience it at work. When I have a stressful day or I'm working on a project and I'm struggling, I will just calmly quiet my mind and just say, you know what, may this work be blessed. May what I'm doing be blessed today, right? And I swear to you, the rest of my day, it's almost like magic. It smooths out because you get back to the reality. You get back to the true essence of all, which is the energy of love. And there's a quote. One of my favorite spiritual teachers is Carolyn Myss, and one of her quotes is, "Fate is how your life unfolds when you let fear determine your choices. A path of destiny reveals itself to you, however, when you confront your fear and make conscious choices." So there it is, right? This is what yoga can do for you. It's going to help you make conscious choices instead of living your life in the illusion of separateness or duality, and really see the oneness of everything and come and move and breathe from a place of love. And when you do that, you're blessing others, and in turn, what you give is return, right? It's all energy out there. And I believe in this practice of yoga, of meditation, of mindfulness. And this is what the practice does for us. It helps us move through life as conscious human beings. You raise your vibration, right, of yourself within and around you. And then you're raising the vibration of the planet, because it's like, we're like that drop of positivity dropped in the ocean, and the ripples go out. So I hope you get something out of this. I hope, let me know if there's a certain klesha that stood out to you, that you're struggling with the most. Leave a comment, and maybe I'll dive deeper into that, and we can talk on our next Sprinkles of Spirit together with that. So, okay, let's end with our postcard from Spirit, as I do. So this is just a message for us for our week. Okay. So again, just close your eyes, take a deep breath in. And I'm just asking always for a message, for our highest good. What energy are we working with the most right now? For you, for the highest good of every soul who's sitting here together, listening to this talk, receiving from your heart. Okay, here we go. Dearest you, there is always more than one side to an argument, two sides, if not more, to every story, and hundreds of ways to be right, be different, be at odds, and so on. Today, we suggest that instead of looking for differences, you find a meeting place of agreement and approach this experience with understanding and compassion. That's that oneness. Seek common ground to understand how another person thinks and how an alternate plan might be laid. Stay out of judgment too. Observe, discern, but accept that others have different stories, experiences, and journeys, and some people might refuse to remain open to another's point of view. No matter what, you've been presented with a great opportunity to explore a new way of doing things once common ground is reached. You're attracting people and situations that enrich your life and bring you wonderful things to learn. So how awesome is this? This talks about judgment, right? And understanding when we move through life and we're on this path of connecting to our spirituality, right? And living a conscious life, we have to let go of judgment, because everybody out there that is in your life and that you're going to come in contact with, they might not be there yet. I have to understand everybody's at a different place in their own evolution of awakening to the truth of who we are, right? They may not be living a conscious life yet. It might even not even happen in this lifetime for them yet. But it's not my place to place judgment, right? What is our place is to just live and continue to connect to the place of love and live and move and breathe and come from a space of love and be the example for them. And it is a practice, and it's a commitment, and it's a discipline until it becomes, a feeling of peace, and you'll be able to connect to that place quicker and quicker, really. And really, like a Course in Miracles says, right? It's a shift in perception from fear, returning us to love. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for sitting with me here today. Sprinkles of Spirit, and leave a comment, click the like button, subscribe if you haven't. If you're new here, please, I would love for you to practice with me, begin your yoga journey. I'm having so much fun, and I will meet you right back here next time. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.